All right, so I'm really annoyed because it's my own fault, but I read this whole entire chapter. I procrastinated, and then because OBS records in a MKV file format that I can't use in the editor, I was converting it, but then it was taking too long to convert, and I'm so smart. I set the converter to delete whatever it converts, but I interrupted it. So I don't want to bitch about free software that works very well, right? Because that would be ungrateful, and it's a preventable issue, and it's my own fault. But the converter file, which is very good, does its job very well. It deletes before it converts. So when you interrupt the conversion, you lost what you converted, and then the unconverted files are corrupted. So I lost my work, but it's my own fault, and it's easily preventable. Right? Look at the bright side. So now we gotta read chapter 5 again. After like 2 months of procrastination and what have you. Now I completely forgot where we are. I think chapter 4. Yeah, Jet blew it. Yeah, okay. Are you listening to me? Frank said. You look pretty zoned out right now, and I'm trying to school you with this knowledge. The weird part? Everything he was saying, all the information he was blurting out, I felt like I knew it subconsciously. That was a foreshadowing orgasm. You see, Frank seemed to always have bits of information like a walking Snapple cap. Imagine all the shit you learned throughout your life, the things your brain keeps locked. Spelling, family faces, pattern recognition, the first hand job under the bleachers. Freshman year, visual spatial processing, all stuff for your survival. Then there's the shit you learn but don't retain, factoring in linear equations, what you had for breakfast 3 days ago, nutritional information about bananas. Now, Frank, his brain was entirely conscious. The shit a normal brain is supposed to throw away, it's like Frank kept it, replacing the main things you need with the clutter of his own subconscious. And that was another unique reason he was perfect for my novel. Flynn! He yelled. Oh, sorry, man. I was just thinking about... Oh no, I thought, stopping myself mid-sentence. I couldn't tell him what I was doing, why I was really here. The real reason I'm here is because I got not $100,000 book deal, even though I have no prior works, I have no reputation to back it up, and I don't even have a manuscript. Did I already discuss how this book is just about a crazy person, but the real stuff that occurs in the plot itself is actually crazy? Now that could actually be the only way you can play that well is if it's a parody. You can't play that seriously, where a crazy person is living in a crazy world and you playing that serious, because the absurdities, you're just gonna have to laugh. It doesn't make any sense. You can only have a straight man play in a crazy world, or a crazy person in a normal world. You can't have a crazy person in a crazy world and play it for real. Play it straight. Oh, yeah, it's as if the world is the straight man, but it's not a real straight man. It's just crazy. So that's why it's just really bad. All right, where was I? Thinking about what? Asked Frank. If I said more, I would blow my undercover. No, I would blow my cover as an undercover author, potentially ruining my chances of finishing this book. So I said the first thing that came to my mind that was sure to distract him. Ever fuck that girl? I asked, pointing to a girl who had apparently been hired the month before. Who? Kara? Oh yeah, man. 2 days in, I polished that off. Okay. I don't think you use the term polished with a woman unless she's packing some heat. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So I think Kara's packing some heat that Frank is totally okay with polishing. Kara worked in the coffee shop at the end of the store, the one by aisle 12. Kara was maybe 23, blonde and short, and seemed run-on sentence very sweet. She had piercing eyes, full lips, and a hair in a tight ponytail. And she wore knee-high boots, kind of dumb-looking, maybe like a bimbo who gets by in her looks. But she was intelligent. How would you know that? You just met her. How would you know that? She was intelligent, just naive seeming. So we got a bimbo who's naive but also really smart. Okay, let's just run with that. Either way, my question distracted him from what had been on my mind, writing this novel. As we walked to the front of the store, he elaborated on their sexcapades, explaining how they went to in the back storage area one evening after closing when no one was around. He went on about this little cupcake tattoo just under her left breast, right above her ribcage. I asked him to describe the tattoo, gripping my pen, fumbling it. It was a pink cupcake tattoo with blue sprinkles. He explained with two cartoon eyes. He explained with two cartoon eyes. Bro, the sentence needs to be restructured. He explained with. I'm sorry. He explained as he's explaining before and after the words he explained, in the same sentence, no period. With two cartoon eyes and a smile to match the little arms and legs. By the time I finished writing this down, we reached the front customer service area. How you find your first day, child? Rhonda said. It's going pretty all right, I suppose, I replied. Just getting to know the place. At that moment, the door behind her opened. The customer service area was a 10 by 10 foot room. There was an 8-foot long counter built into the wall that separated Rhonda from the customers who came to her for help. At the end of the counter, where she sat, was a latch that allowed the table to lift up. It was attached to the wall like a drawbridge. Damn, let me just slow down. It was attached to the wall like a drawbridge that could be retracted over a moat leading to the king's castle. In the corner of the room behind Rhonda, a man walked through, mumbling in Spanish. Hector. Hector was a 34-year-old first-generation Mexican-American security guard at Muldoon's. He was overweight and wore a white short-sleeve button-down, a black tie, and a metal badge on his left breast. His slacks were a deep blue with black stripes down the sides, and they were accompanied by a utility belt containing his flashlight, baton, and empty handcuff pouch. It was technically illegal for him to detain anyone. At the end of the day, he had no jurisdiction, was just a scarecrow Ted Daniels hired at $10.75 an hour to patrol the aisles, scaring teenage men. Dude, these fucking run-on sentences, that's a semicolon that has to be there, not a comma. scaring teenagers before they mustered the courage to lift something. Hola, Vernon, Hector said to an armed guard who had sneaked past me without my realizing it. Hello, once again. It's like everything is going against me doing this. So last time I read this whole page and then it wasn't even recording. But once again, I have instituted steps or measures to prevent that issue from happening again. I put a sound when it starts recording. So, a new mistake, and I have set up precautions. Right? We're learning from we learn from our mistakes here. So where was I? All right. Yeah, so Hector says hola because he's Mexican. Of course he has to say hola. Even though there's no other Mexicans around, so he wouldn't really say hola. You know what I mean? It would largely depend. Like if there was another like Spanish person there, he might feel more comfortable saying it. But if he's the only one there, I don't know if he would say hola, unless he's like legit and illegal, and he still hasn't learned the language at all. Like he just came in. All right, and another thing that I said last time was the redundancy of saying he sneaked past me without my realizing it. If he didn't sneak past you, if you realized he was sneaking past you, he wouldn't have past tense sneaked past you. So it's just redundant to say without my realizing it. Oh, good. Right on time, said Ted, who was walking up right then. At the end of every month. Oh, I bitched about this 3 times already. Well, this is going to be the 3rd time. But now maybe I could just say it more clearly. So the author, he does these stupid stream of conscious thing, like stupid crap, right? Like, oh, where was I? What was I thinking about? Like he has these present moment thoughts in his quote unquote book, which we're reading this in his book. This is his this is a book that he's written. We're reading a book that the author's written, and he's chosen to keep these very present tense thought processes inside, right? And then you have this like entire little paragraph of the explanation of exactly how the money comes in and out of the store, like this clairvoyant, like studied knowledge that he would only have after working for months, smack dab in the middle of this quote unquote present moment knowledge. It doesn't like, it's just inconsistent where it's just inconsistent because if you're quote unquote writing this book, why would you keep that sloppy present tense, like, oh, what was I thinking about? What was I doing? Like, why would you keep that in your stupid book? The only way you would keep that well, from a meta perspective, the only reason an author would keep that moment is if the story is being told in the present tense, okay? But this stupid book is so bad, it just tries to eat up the 2 different perspectives, and it just pukes it into a hot mess. It's just so bad. And I hate it. At the end of every month, well, now let me get to this clairvoyant knowledge that the character should not have at this point in time. And look how like methodical the description is. At the end of every, like he's obviously trying to lay up a hit right now on the store. That's exactly how it's written, and that's fine, but not at this point in time. Like, why are you even giving us this information? Like, why don't you just have the why don't you just write it as like his perspective of seeing it at the first time, and then maybe getting curious about it and maybe spying, right? Like, let's have a present moment scene, not a expositional dump of like how the money is moved. Like, I don't care how the money is moved. You haven't set up the character to be the kind of character who would want to rob this place. So it's literally just worthless. As a reader, there's no point in me knowing this right now. I'm not thinking, wow, is Flynn gonna rob the store? There's no way for me to ever think that. He's not in money. Like, okay, how about this? He's not even in money troubles. Like, that's not even an established problem. He quote unquote conquered. More like just got money from out of his asshole. But he's not even having money problems. So why as the reader am I getting this exposition dump on how the money's moved? I'm actually learning more about the character knowing this information than information I actually need about how the money is moved at this point. It's just really bad. Now let me see if it recorded. At the end of every month, on the 28th at 4 p.m. sharp, Vernon came to relieve the store of the roughly $100,000 in cash it had made in the month. I'm sorry. You start the sentence saying at the end of every month, and then obviously it's going to take the money it made that month. If it does it every month, it's obviously going to be taking the money that it made that month. Like, it's not going to take... You see how redundant it is? At the end of every month, it takes the money it made at the end of the month. Jesus Christ. Until then, it was held... Can I even fucking talk? Until then, it was held securely in a summerfold safe in Hector's security office, right next to the monitors that displayed a closed-circuit security camera feed. With the exception of a few blind spots, the entire store was covered. Not only the aisles, but outside too, including the front parking lot and back loading dock where Frank took his frequent smoke breaks. How was your day, Ted? Vernon asked. He was in his 60s, short and frail for his age, with white hair hiding under his work hat and a bit of a limp in his left leg. His partner, Gary, was the one who drove the armored truck. Gary never left his position. Well, I'm just fine, Vernon, said Ted. He smiled, his teeth protruding more than ever. Vernon grabbed the 3 deposit bags and put them in a locked duffel bag. See you next month, said Vernon. Ted and Hector waved goodbye and returned to their daily paperwork. That guy looked like Father Time, huh? I said to Frank. I was going to say it in Frank's voice. Who are... Man, these voices are hard. Hold on. Who are you talking to? That's not his voice. Who are you talking to? I can't even do it, man. I don't know. Frank, I said, turning my head to look. Frank was nowhere to be found. Well, he must have slipped away while you were standing there daydreaming. No more of that, okay? Got it, Ted. Sorry about that. Can I see you in my office? Ted said with a dangerous smile. Sitting in sitting in Ted's office was never fun. He was always so awkward. He was always so awkward. He was the boss who wanted to be everyone's buddy, insisting that you come to him if you ever needed anything. But as he pulled his chair up next to me, the only thing I needed was space, quite honestly. Oof, the perfect voice for this character. Flynn, he said, looking concerned. How are we feeling today? You've been acting a little aloof lately. Everything all right? Things going smoothly? Anything you need. Just know that I'm here. No, everything is going pretty okay, thanks, I said. He was right. I was aloof. But that was only because I was preoccupied trying to take mental notes for my book. If I wasn't floating or being distracted by Frank, I was plotting the story in my head, thinking of how these characters would puzzle together, trying to figure out the rising action and climax. Ooh. All right, well, listen, I just want you to know that you're part of this family now, and if there's anything I can help you with, you let me know, he said with a smile. Oh, he continued, the code to the break room is 34652, okay? That's the code to everything else in this place. I made it super easy so that no one would ever forget. I mean, everything else is pretty much unlocked or open anyway, but you know, just in case. He explained, pointing at me with one brow raised, as if to say, in case you want to come into my office and sneak under my desk while I'm working. I wasn't gonna do it right now. Like that. I was out of his office as quickly as I had entered, that's what she said, with one thought in mind. I hope this doesn't become a recurring thing. From the corner of my eye, I caught the clock on the wall. It was 6 p.m. My shift was over. Damn. I said this last time. It's annoying. It's annoying being fake and like reacting to it as he did previously. But like, it's so surprising that he let him off at exactly the time he's supposed to go. Usually they'll keep you 10 minutes after. The day had flown by. I was feeling more comfortable with how things operated, but I was still a little disoriented. I clocked out and said bye to Rhonda. Just as I was leaving, Frank stopped me. Flynn! Oh, I thought Rhonda. I don't know why I was going to do Rhonda's voice. Flynn, where are you going? He said. I'm going home, man. It's 6. It's nappy nap time, I said. You're not doing it right, dog, he said, pulling out a stack of 20s and 10s from his pocket. Frank, where'd you get that cash? I said. Where do you think, Einstein? From the fucking cash register, he jeered. Oops. What the hell? Stop recording. Frank, what the fuck, man? You can't be stealing like that. That's embezzlement. Okay. That's not embezzlement, brother. Okay, hold on. It would be embezzlement if he manned the cash register. I guess. Would it? No, it's not. Hold on. Embezzlement is the company gives you a budget of $1,000 to go meet with a client, but then you spend like $200 on stuff that's irrelevant, right? Like just personal stuff. So it's when you use money that the company is giving you to in a budget or a task for your own personal stuff. That's embezzlement. You're never supposed to use the money in the cash register, except I guess to give change. But that's still not embezzlement. What the fuck is? You see what I mean? Like, it's just stupid crap. It's not embezzlement. It's just stealing, which embezzlement is a form of stealing. It's a very specific form of stealing. He's literally just taking money out of a cash register. That's not fucking embezzlement. Bro, I've been tipping myself out nightly for months, and no one has said shit. It's easy as pie. he said as he took out a banana from his apron. And he's probably also been stealing bananas. That ain't right, man. Your luck is gonna run out one of these days, 'cause I'm gonna snitch on you, I said. I turned and went home. You know, I don't know. I mean, on one hand, you know, I'm just thinking like about snitching. It's like, on one hand, I don't know. I don't want to say it's always 100% a bad thing because, I mean, we only think snitching is okay if it's against the company, like whistleblowing, like ChatGPT, right? The whistleblower who, I forgot what it was, but he's a whistleblower. So whistleblowers are just snitching on the big people, but if you're snitching on your peers, that's when it's bad. But at the same time, like if your peers are stealing from the register, that's going to impact you at the end of the day, right? Because that might lead to the company, you know, making less of a profit. But at the end of the day, you don't want to concern yourself with the profit of the company. But I don't know, man. I don't want to just straight out say, oh yeah, he's a snitch, he's a bad thing. But at the same time, when you're getting paid for that, it's like you don't really. There's no really incentive to look out for the company's best interest when you're making that much at that company, right? Minimum wage. So I don't know. Now, obviously, stealing is wrong, right? Anyway, I turned and went home. I got home. Okay. I got home and poured the day into my moleskin. It may not have seemed like an eventful shift from the looks of it, but it was the kind of pedestrian, humdrum non-action I needed to set the stage for the first few chapters. I wrote and wrote and wrote until my hands hurt. I turned the page, pausing momentarily, mentally dazed from the stream. What stream? I turned my notebook sideways and scrawled in all caps. That was it. Oh, Muldoon's. That was it. That would be the title. It was a rare moment of certainty. I closed the book and went to bed. The next morning when I came to work, I saw the old black man outside playing chess again. This was already feeling like deja vu. As I entered through the automatic doors, I walked toward the break room to clock in. Now keep in mind, Ted just gave us the code to the break room. How were we clocking in previously if we didn't have the code to the break room up until this day? Think about that. Ted just gave us the code to the break room. Although he did also say that everything is unlocked. But he did specifically say, here is the code to the break room. Is it just me, or it just doesn't make any sense? You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand what is going on. As I entered through the automatic doors and walked toward the break room to clock in, I saw the crazy-looking dude holding his coffee to his nose. He sniffed intensely. Coffee, 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 he said. Hey, what's your name, man? I asked. Coffee, 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 he said. Okay, then. That just happened. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. What? That just happened. This book was written in like 2022, 2021, so it's just at the dawn of Marvel writing. That just happened. Looks at the camera, winks. Wait, that's Deadpool looking at the camera, but he looks at his fellow superheroes. That just happened. And then fucking DC Comics failing to make darker stuff. Like, there's just no balance in this world. I just kept walking until I was intercepted by Anne from the pharmacy. Like clockwork, yet again, she handed me a couple of multivitamins, which I pretended to ingest, secretly storing them in my jacket pocket. Oh yeah, secretly. I reached the back room and hit the keypad above the room. 3465-2. Am I recording? See, I had to check. I went to clock in. Rachel and Becca were sitting inside again, talking about last night's episode of The Bachelor. Hey, Flynn. Should we give her the purple cloud voice? Hey, Flynn. Rachel said. Hey, Rachel. What's up? I responded as I opened my locker and put on my Muldoon's apron and name tag. Nothing much. Just another monotonous day at the grocery store. He said. Oh, right? She said, taking a sip of coffee. Her bright red lipstick stained the paper cup. Before I even had a chance to respond, I heard it. Floater to the bakery, please. The voice of a woman. Floater the bakery, please. The voice of a woman with a Russian accent crackled through the static of the dated intercom. On my way to the bakery, the lights went out in half the store. What the hell? I said, stopping in my tracks. Oh, that's just a busted ass electrical system. Oh, this is a black guy. And wait till you see his name. A voice said from behind me. When I turned around, I was met by a black man in his late 20s. You Flynn, right? Oh, wait, no, that's his mom's voice. Can I do another black voice? You Flynn, right? No, I can't do it. Yeah, that's me. Look at this fucking gay ass name, dude. I can't even think of a voice. I did it better on my first recording of this, man. Let me think. I'm Day Day. Stupid ass name. He extended his hand and I shook it. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, man. Yeah, Ted's cheap ass still ain't put the money he should into this electrical system. Day Day, I soon learned, was an on-call super for the store, the all-around handyman. Day Day, Gay, actually, I'm not even gonna say that either. It's so dumb. Actually seemed like a chill dude. One of the only employees I could say that about so far. Yeah, man. Wait. Yeah, man. I can't do it. Yeah, man, he continued. The lights in this place are always shady. Never really know when they're gonna go on you. This white nigga's so cheap. White nigga? I thought to myself, well, what does that mean? I mean, I couldn't exactly just ask him what a white nigga is, what that meant, because as a white man, I'm pretty sure he would beat the shit out of me. Rightfully so. White people have no reason to use that word, but maybe white niggas. What the fuck? The dumbest shit. I guess this is something I will never understand about lingo and black culture as a white kid. Hell, I'd like to think I'm a pretty... No, you're not. You're not a pretty good writer. But I can't dance for shit. And let's be real. Black people have soul. Come on, bro. There's just some things people won't ever understand. As for me, the oxymoron of white nigga... I'm using the word oxymoron. As for me, the oxymoron of white nigga is one I shall never uncover. So move out the doorway, nigga. It's so dumb. Alright. Okay, well, thanks, Day Day. It was nice to meet you, I said, beginning to walk away. Alright, my nigga. I'm gonna go back to fixing back these lights. I said that wrong, not him. My English was bad. I was so puzzled. He called me nigga? What the hell was going on? Was that a good thing? I contemplated this all the way to the bakery, which was located in the back of the store near aisle 13. The bakery smelled like...
Smelled amazing. All around me were pastries, fresh loaves of bread, grape Kool-Aid, fried chicken, muffins, cakes, and bagels. I felt transported by the aroma. Hey, are you Flynn, right? Oh, that's the girl. I was like, oh, that's weird. Why is the Russian grandma talking normal English? And this is how I met Mia Torres. She was an absolute beauty, a 25-year-old Spanish-speaking, tan-skinned, 5'6" supermarket model with jet black hair, an amazing body, a warm, welcoming energy. He's actually using semicolons. No, he's not. You wouldn't use it like this. This is... I'm gonna have to double research it, but because like the fact that he's using it all of a sudden makes me think it has to be right? But no, semicolon and then semicolon again. I don't know. I don't think so. She was the only when when something is so wrong, you have to question like your own knowledge on it. That's how bad this is. 2 semicolons like this. I know semicolons is like when there's 2 independent clauses. No. 1 independent clause and then 1 like incomplete thing. So, but here he has like a whole run-on sentence where he's using 2 semicolons. That's not proper at all. She was the only thing in the entire store that felt real. Didn't you say something else was Day was real? Didn't you just say that? He was the coolest guy. Now this chick is, of course. She was a combination of 2 celebrities. I'm not even gonna name because I don't give a shit about celebrities. Random mixture, I know, but damn, she was gorgeous. Mia was the kind of girl who you see and feel an instant attraction to and chemistry with. Yeah, it's a word for that. It's called being hot. When you're hot, everyone feels instantly attracted to you. That's what being hot means. I felt light on my feet. I was infatuated, love-struck. She was wifey material. Ugh. I realized I had just been standing there silently. Wait. I realized I had just been standing there silently. I fumbled. Yeah, I second day. I said, nervously reaching for my moleskin. If I were her, I'd be nervous what he's reaching for. And not his moleskin. Oh, yay. I'm trying to think of what voice. Because she actually is a important character. I'm trying to think of what voice I can maintain. If I give her like a whiny voice, it's just going to be his and hers. And it's just going to make me want to hurt someone. Giving both of the main characters a whiny voice like that, it's just abusive. Let me think. It's a work in progress. Oh, yay. You haven't been tainted yet. She said with a chuckle, giving me an infectious smile. Or maybe we should just give her a regular guy voice. This place is kind of a killer of dreams. Actually, I didn't even change any words there, and it worked out well. Why do you say that? I asked, eager to take micro notes of key points of our conversation. First of all, when you're talking to someone and they're taking notes, it's kind of weird, but whatever. Well, wait, no, I was giving her the same voice. Well, for starters, we'll give her the vocal fry. She was interrupted by a tiny, pasty, white woman with a face that rested in anger. She was like a 5'4" Robert. I'm tired of these celebrity bullshits. Comparisons. Dressed in all white with a flour-stained apron, a rolling pin, and this... Okay, so a cook isn't really going to be... a baker isn't necessarily going to be running around with a rolling pin. I doubt that they're going to keep it on the table that they're using it with. Especially if she's coming here to instruct them. And a disgusting hairy mole above her lip. So a a thing that this book likes to reinforce is pretty people nice, ugly people bad. That's a stereotype. Well, is it stereotype? That's a thing that happens in this book. Pretty people good, ugly people bad. She opened her mouth to speak, but before the first syllable slipped out, I knew the voice was going to sound like a creepy James Bond villain. The very same Bond villain who requested my presence in the first place. Is this the floater? She said, not really asking either of us in particular. Yes, I'm Flynn. You, come with me, floater. She interrupted, grabbing my arm. Here I was, being manhandled by a 65-year-old female Robert De Niro, forced into the baker's den. We stood surrounded by freezers, ovens, and huge baking sheets about 3 feet long and 2 feet wide. Counters piled with dough framed the room. In freezer, we keep dough, she said in her thick Russian accent. I looked at her name tag. It read Bianca. Now dough is ready. She pulled out a box, and I realized what she meant. None of the donuts, pressos, or bagels bagels were made fresh. They were outsourced by another company and kept frozen in white paper boxes. So all you needed to do was pop them in an industrial oven and let them cook. Take them out and put them in a pretty package to give them that baked from scratch look. I spent the next few days in. I'm gonna need a little paragraph break right here, buddy. He literally jumps from getting a description of like a freezer in the bakery his first time in the job, and then no paragraph break. I spent the next few days. The editor did not give a shit, and over that time, I learned a lot. Pretty soon, my notepad was almost full. For example, did you know that when anything is new brought onto the floor, such as pies or any other baked goods, they placed the freshest on the bottom so as to move the old product first. So whenever you go shopping, be sure to grab your bread from the back or bottom. Okay, so first of all, you know, you can try to paint that as, oh, the supermarket is villainous. They want you to get old expired food, and you know, sometimes they'll try to sell that. But at the same time, if you know you're gonna drink your milk within the week, and then the milk is gonna expire maybe a couple of days after the week ends, just get that milk. You know, you gotta realize, like, this is not just like financial waste. It's also just a waste of resources. You got to think of it like that as well. It's like, okay, oh, the greedy grocery stop is not going to get my $4 in the milk now. And it's like, okay, well, now they just had to throw milk away, and then that's just waste, right? So at the very least, if it's going to expire within a reasonable time that you know you're going to finish it, just get it. Just getting from the back all the time it's just annoying. It's just like one of those behaviors that, like, oh, I'm gonna do it because I'm smart. I know better than everybody else. I got the secret. I got the secret scoop on how to get the best stuff, and it's like, just get what's there. You don't need to get the freshest when you're not even. Whatever. So aside from the Bond villain trying to kill any bit of happiness I might have, there was always me. Our stations were right next to each other. I prepared the bagels and loaves of bread on the countertop like a buffet table with a sneeze guard. You know? I mean, well, minus a sneeze guard. Fuck you. To my right was a gap where we could walk out onto the floor and start breakdancing. And on the other side of the gap was Mia's station. Mia would man, because she packing heat. She would man. Mia the man with ovens. We had enough FaceTime that we built a nice rapport. Thanks for skipping that. Thanks for skipping the development of your relationship. Especially the beginning. That's like the most boringest part. The beginning of it. You know, the beginning is where you're like, oh, you get an idea of like, okay, these characters are going to vibe together. We just got like a hi, hello. And that's, oh yeah, they vibe together. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's just lazy. We build a nice rapport. Yeah, thanks for telling me that. Don't show me. Don't show me how you guys vibed. Because really, you just wet your pants after seeing her. That was your only interaction with her, for real. Psst. Okay, we had enough. We could chit chat, shoot the shit, joke around. She taught me how to bake and ice a cake. This was straight out of an episode of The Bachelor. Yeah, because you have no fucking originality. Your analogies all have to be based on a TV show. Like, it's not. Why would the fuck would I read your book? Contestants having to bake together. Flour was flirtatiously tossed. I really got the feeling she'd taken a liking to me. Not likely. Statistically unlikely. Mia told me about her ambitions in life and how she'd been in college studying law. She explained how her family was extremely poor, how her dad had left her family and was a little crazy. She'd entered a contest for a full ride scholarship to law school. Had written, dude, that's like, why don't you combine the sentence if this is the if this is the how? Had written a moving essay to a man running for governor. In the end, he decided to donate his money to a good cause. The good cause being this brown-skinned poor girl. It was a smart move, playing the young lower-class female Hispanic vote all in one shot. That's politics. Yeah, just giving money to people. To one person. Hey, everybody, I'm a nice person. Oh, his own money. Yeah, well, he's going to get a lot of kickbacks once he becomes governor, right? Mia didn't mind knowing this was a big reason she received a ride. Oh, yeah. All she cared about was riding it all the way to the sunset. I was just trying to find a way to segue that into the sentence naturally. The fact that she'd be in school working toward a career she really cared about. She wanted to be an entertainment attorney. She wasn't really musically inclined, but in the shower, it was showtime at Apollo for her. Ugh. She wanted to be behind the, behind, maybe in front, under, maybe on top, some of them, representing their interests, making sure they weren't being exploited, and that they were getting their money where it was due. Yeah, I'm sure the $1 billion that they're getting are enough. I mean, forget the cameraman, right? Forget the cameraman. Forget the guy who's bringing in the coffee. Just the person who can tell a sweet lie on television. I told her about my dad, who I never knew. Why would you tell her about that? I told her about my aimless youth. Why would you tell her about that? I told her about my breakup with Lola and my months of depression. Why the fuck would you say that? Why the hell would you say that? I told her about my ambitions of writing. Okay. I told her about how incredible. Well, they don't care unless you're famous already. I told her about how incredible and strong my mommy was to have raised me all on her own. Yeah, women love the single mom wet dream. Oh yeah, single mom depriving the children of their fathers by not selecting a good mate. Yes, queen. Slay the welfare checks. I was currently writing a book. Yeah, you said that already, bro. Did you repeat yourself? A book she was now a character in. Oh, Lord. That just make her feel a little like, oh, yeah. Unless they really like you, they might be like, oh, my God. No, unless you're famous. They'll be like, oh, my God, put me in your book. She smiled when she spoke to me, interested in everything I said. They also smile to protect themselves. Like, oh, yeah, I'm totally interested in what you're saying. Please don't murder me. I couldn't help but feel bad for being a little dishonest, for using her for information as research for my novel, but pretty soon it didn't feel that way anymore. I decided I could ethically keep that to myself for the time being. After only an hour speaking to me, okay, so let me talk about the ethics on this, right? So when you're interacting with other people, that's your experience. You can't. So, I mean, I guess you could be like, if they tell you a story, I guess that's their thing. But once they tell you the story, that's part of your experience now. And most stories are just stories told from other people passed down. That's like tradition, right? So you can't really put a patent on it. Like, oh, you can't put me in your book unless it's like 100%. This is the person. No, like the background information, everything about them is this person. Then yeah, that would be too much. And it would also just be insulting to the writer, like, and the readers. It's like, can you be a little creative, please? Please, please, can you be a little creative? But it's like that person's behavior around you is now part of my experience, and I can write about my experience. You can't tell me not to write about my experience. What are you talking to? Oh, I'm gonna give her Indian voice. The hottest accent you could think of. The perfect accent for Mia. And I just skipped like 3 lines. Oh shit! Where am I? After only an hour speaking to Mia that first day, I didn't need the notepad anymore. I was hanging on her every word like a big boy simp. It was all in my memory. After a while, I realized the last time I wrote in the moleskin it was with Frank. Didn't you say you filled the pages already? Oh shit, Frank, I thought to myself as Mia was speaking. By then, I hadn't seen him in a few days and wondered where he had been. And wouldn't you know it, it was kind of a welcome respite, I gotta say. Oh my god. Who are you talking to? I was just rubbing my nose, but maybe I should put that. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? No. Who are you talking to? Yeah, it's gonna be your voice. And I still skipped the whole line. Just then, a lanky arm by the front of the store near aisle 1 was waving intensely with a banana peel trying to get my attention. The hand was followed by Frank's head, which popped out from the shelf like a cartoon. He motioned me over, but I motioned back that I was working and pointed toward Bianca, Russian villain and sucker of happiness. Okay, so you're just a hater at this point. You don't need to constantly remind me that you hate this poor old Russian woman who just came to this country just to bake her sweet vodka cakes, okay? You don't need to be such a hater. Who are you talking to? Mia said in a why aren't you paying attention to what I'm saying tone. Yeah, we all heard that one. What? Oh, I'm sorry. My buddy was trying to get my attention. Oh, she said. Yeah, sorry about that. You deserve my full attention 100% of the time, Queen. Just as I was searching for a further excuse, we were interrupted by a voice. Hey there, Muldoon's employees, said Ted Daniels, giving an overzealous wave. He was headed toward the coffee shop with Kara, the full-lipped blonde who worked there. Oh, poor girl, she said. Ted is kind of creepy, and I'd hate to have to go anywhere with him. And she's so sweet. And freaky, I added. What? Oh, I just heard she gets a little freaky. Who told you that, Flynn? Frank had sex with her. Oh, wow, what a conversation. Well, Frank is a liar, Mia said, because Kara is like a super Mormon. I've witnessed it firsthand. If she has sex with him, well, then I have a penis. Okay, so first of all, that women, there is no commitment to religion, unless her father is like 100%, like just, I don't want to use this phrasing, but 100% on top of her, especially with Mormons. Like, just there's no it really depends on the environment that's gonna enforce it, because she's probably, even in an environment they just don't care. There's no what's the word, like, whatever. It's just like, how do I explain it? There's no commitment to a cause. Whatever. My eyes glanced down at the zipper in her pants. In her pants? You mean on her pants? Why would the zipper be inside her pants? Flynn, she giggled and smacked my arm. The giggle slap. She was definitely into me. I mean, that's like 9th grade shit right there. I was so in. But by lunch, I was pretty tired. Not from speaking to Mia, obviously, but from working hard under soul sucker Bianca. Oh my god, the hater. As I was about to take my break, the green-haired Curtis, oh god, I forgot about him, awkwardly trying to talk to Mia while I restocked the bagels. Fuck this guy, I thought. As he left, he gave me a menacing look with his fucking nasty-ass tacky outfit and hairstyle. Like he wanted me dead. And as if that weren't bad enough, Bianca would tell us not to speak to each other while we worked. Like, I could understand if we weren't being productive or being loud and unprofessional, but our work areas were feet from each other, and this bitch had the balls to tell us no talking? During my break, I snagged a few slices of dead bread from the bakery, then went to the deli and swiped some ham and Swiss cheese when Curtis wasn't looking. An impromptu sandwich. After that, I went to the break room where Frank was filing a paper cup with water from the blue plastic jug. What do you mean filing? I've never heard that phrase before. Dude, where have you been? He said. I can ask you the same thing, man. I haven't seen you in days. Bro, didn't you see me today trying to get you? Oh. Wait, why would. Hold on. Dude, this is Flynn talking, right? Next line. This is Frank talking. Next line, he's talking again. This should be one whole like line right here. Why would. It's like he meant to take out this line right here. Like, oh no, this is an editing mistake. He forgot to take out this line because these two lines effectively serve the same purpose. I could ask you the same thing. I haven't seen you in days, bro. Didn't you see? Like, it's like there's a third person talking, but bro, I can't believe this book made money and mine didn't. It's not even about mine being better or worse. It's just like clout just gives you undeserved power, bro. Oh my god. And like he has the money for editors. How did your editors not catch this? Who's talking here? Bro, didn't you see me trying to get your attention? He asked with attitude. Oh, I've been doing that for the last few days. When that mean bitch who works there wasn't looking. Yeah, but You were talking to that Mia chick, huh? She's fucking hot, right? He interrupted. Dude, she doesn't even know who you are. I snapped back to reality defensively. Man, all these hoes know who I am, Frank said, opening a locker and taking out a pack of cigarettes and a lighter. You know, in my locker, there's a little cubby under the metal at the base. If you push down on the right side, it pops open. It's where I keep the shit I steal. And my gun. Frank shut the locker. You don't have a gun in there? I spewed. What? What? What the fuck is that line? It's for when the time comes. What the hell are you talking about? I'm foreshadowing, man, he said with a smirk. Foreshadowing what? The day some disgruntled schizophrenic nutjob employee shows up and stalks the aisles with an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle, pumping rounds into customers and employees, or even himself. I really want to say stuff, but let's just finish this. Frank put a cigarette in his mouth. I'm gonna be prepared for that fucker. He's never gonna know what hit him. I'm gonna be 1,000 moves ahead of him, like a game of chess. Okay. Jesus, that hurts my throat. Okay. So, AR-15, that already tells you in what decade this book was written. The last decade. This decade. And first of all, a guy who's planning to shoot people, I mean, I guess if they're actually trained, they would use a semi-automatic. But a person who doesn't know, like, okay, there's just so many layers to this that's wrong. Or maybe it's right. So a person who's actually trained to use a gun would know that using a semi-automatic rifle, I mean, I'm just talking on my ass to be honest here, but a semi-automatic rifle would give you more control, or at least less, how do I explain it? Like, it's something you would give someone who isn't experienced with guns to, like, limit themselves so they don't just hold the trigger and just blast. But a person who doesn't know guns would get an automatic rifle because they don't understand that, like, you know, not gun control as in, like, laws, but, like, how to handle the recoil, how many shots you should fire in a single pull of the trigger, stuff like that. So there's just too many layers. I don't know if it's just, like, actual ignorance or they actually know what they're talking about. But based on what I've read so far, and based on my experience with this book, I'm going to have to say he just doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah. You don't really have a gun in there, do you? I asked, though deep down, this was the shit I loved about Frank. So it's kind of weird that he says, oh yeah, I love this about Frank. Even though he really, like, the line, like, my voice is perfect for this character. He really just comes across as a little bitch. You don't have a gun in there. What? Like, what the fucking line is that, bro? Why are you screaming what? Did he even show it? Hold on. He shut the locker, so he didn't even pull out the gun. If he pulled out the gun, then, oh yeah, shit. Oh, what? What is going on? You pulled the gun. But he's just saying he has a gun. He didn't even pull it out. I asked, though, deep down, this was the shit I loved about Frank. You didn't know what was real and what wasn't. Haha. Foreshadowing. Ever seen the roof? He said. Oh, ever seen the roof? He said, ignoring me as he walked past. No, I have. Cool. Let's go. As we walked through the store, he continued talking. You didn't see me because you didn't want to. Just admit it to yourself, man. This really isn't healthy by now. You must realize that. My throat's killing me. Wait, what are you talking about? I replied. Mia, man. We were talking about your obsession with her and how it essentially makes me invisible, dude. What do you mean? Oh, bro, his last 6 lines of dialogue are literally the same thing. This is how you know it's an exposition dump. I stared at Frank, puzzled. Bros before hoes, man. But if you want to get technical, the brain is a very complicated organ, man. If you don't control it, it will control you. You see what you want to see. And as the saying goes, you only had eyes for her. I suppose, lover boy. I fucked that up. Or maybe, I don't know. Every time I tried to get at you, I couldn't because you were so focused on this chick, man. Keep your eyes on the prize, bro. In some weird way, it's almost as if Frank was speaking directly into the creative mind inside me. In a way, he was right. I was so infatuated with this girl that I completely forgot why I was here in the first place, to finish my novel. I was smitten, and it had been a major distraction from my book. But Frank couldn't possibly know that. Eyes on what prize? I asked. All this fucking pussy just laying at your feet, man. You can't get all hot and bothered over one chick. I paused for a moment near the exit, Look, man. Oh, look. My throat hurts so bad. Look, man. I said, I'm not here for all this fucking pussy. I genuinely like Mia. Chill. How you talk about your coworkers. These women are just trying to make a buck in the summer. Just because you feel the need to try to fuck everything that walks. Don't drag me in your gutter. I like Mia, so what? Oh my god. She's old news, man. Old news? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Bro, said Frank, who was now to the right of me. He stopped and put his left hand on my shoulder. Like a blind man walking to a person with sight. I'm just saying, this place is like a revolving door. There are new girls in and out of here every day. So if you want to focus on little old Mia, be my... Dude, this voice is destroying my throat. Be my guest, brother. But you're missing out. We walked out the back door and onto the loading dock near the trash and recycling. Frank jumped on top of the giant brown dumpster, would that be capitalized? Reaching for a latch on the ladder that extended to the roof. He released the latch and the bottom half of the ladder rushed down, stopping about a foot from the ground. Hustle up, lover boy, Frank said as he began to climb while holding the cigarette between his lips. I grabbed the skinny, rusting bar of the ladder. As I began my ascension, I was quickly winded and realized that, for a skinny guy, I was out of shape. It was peaceful on the roof of the store. Frank pulled out a joint and tried to light it, but the heavy wind blew out the spark. Ever try to light a joint with a Zippo? It's the fucking worst. Okay, I might have to do a different voice. Oof. He said though he eventually lit it and gestured for me to indulge with him. I politely declined with a slight wave. Who are you, Ted Daniel? No, that's Mia's voice. Who are you, Ted Daniel? No, that's Kurt's voice. Who are you, Ted Daniels? Hit the goddamn joint, he said. In the club, he said. Nah, man, that shit makes me paranoid, I told him. Ooh, that really hurt my throat. Shoot yourself, Frank said, raising his voice. His eyebrows as if to say more for me. That's kind of a weird reaction based on his hit the goddamn joint exclamation. It's like he just did a 180 bipolar reaction there. I'm more of a drinker, if anything. I'm still trying to be cool for your approval, even though I don't want to smoke. And honestly, I try my best to stay away from that, seeing as my dad was an alcoholic, or at least that's what my mom tells me. She said it brought out his schizophrenic tendencies. Oh yeah? Oh yeah. So it's in my blood, you know? Not seeming to care, Frank stood there looking forward. Our view from the top of Muldoon's faced the back end of the store. It was trees as far as you could see. The sun was starting to set. I'm gonna be remembered forever, Frank said. Immortalized. I can feel it. This is just a start. People will know my name. Maybe it'll be infamy, but my name will be known. Snap back to reality. I pulled out my moleskin and took note of this quote. I found it a bit creepy how sure he was of this. It was even more unsettling because what he was stating was currently happening in my novel. This would be a scene. Whoa! And with that, we peered into the horizon. Miles out there were dark clouds punctuated by thunder and lightning. I could feel the storm approaching. Frank's joint had become a roach. He flicked it over on the side of the building and reached for a cigarette. He brought it to his lips, lighting the Zippo. Looks like rain. I went home inspired. No space between these two things. They're on the roof. Now he went home. I paced back and forth. Now he's in his apartment. I paced back and forth in my apartment, chewing a toothpick, bouncing a rubber ball, and twerking, and doing the Fortnite dance. Different the ideas, dialogue, and story arcs raised in my head. I know that was weird, but there was like 3 different things that went through my head there. Thoughts tumbled over one another. They were moving so quickly. Whenever something stuck, I rushed to my typewriter and went to town. The muses were speaking and I was responding. So many things and people, ordinary people I never thought I would meet, having such an impact on me creatively and personally. I started to ponder, fuck the literary world. I wanted to write something I'd want to read, a person who's never read a book. And isn't that what art is about anyway? Expressing yourself the way you want to. Maybe that's why I had been so scared to actually finish and release a book, because of what others would think. You should have done it like this, or you shouldn't do that. A bunch of people, mainly other writers, are people who wish they were reading your work, telling you why it wasn't good enough. So fuck them and their established rules. I'm gonna break every rule unapologetically for my audience and completely waste their time with really bad things that were not in other books, for the very specific reason of it being bad or making the book worse. The only people I'm writing this for anyway. The only people I'm writing this for anyway, think about it. One doesn't create art for the people who hate it. Plus is such a, like a, not a literary, where was I? One doesn't create art for the people who hate it. Plus is such like an academic weird, like a 12th grade word that you would put in your essay. Plus, not like a speech where you're like discussing the purpose of your art, or like you're coming. This is like, I guess this is a character development in the sense that he's overcoming a barrier he had. Like, he's realizing why he didn't do it, right? So to say plus like that is so like anticlimactic. When it comes to other writers, if they think it's bad, they'll hate it because to them it's bad writing, and if it's good, they'll be covetous, wishing they had done it, and consequently hate on it all the more. So if you're making your art based on others, it's a lose-lose. And if you say, screw everyone, I'm going to make something I love and you'll win every time. It was actually Alan Watts, the late and great philosopher, who said, anything you can't become interested in, you'll find others who are. So this is the work for others, like me. I wrote until 4 a.m. As my eyes grew heavy, my fingers slowed down. My head lowered involuntarily. What a nasty word to put in that. I was asleep at my desk, using my typewriter for a pillow yet again.